Hello and a very warm welcome to the Internet of Things Made Simple. I'm Larry Bohumer. This is our 38th mini episode, and I thank you for taking time to listen. If you're new to the podcast, welcome aboard, and congrats on taking an important step to learning more about the wonderful, yet kind of confusing world of IoT. As a reminder, we post all new episodes first on our webpage, so why not check it out, the internetofThingsMadeSimple.com. If you listen via podcast service, and let's face it, most of you do, we ask that you subscribe to this podcast using that service, and if you're able to leave a comment or review, kindly do so. This episode is very much dedicated to a company that many tend to love or hate and nothing in between. That's Amazon. Most consumers do like the Seattle-based company, as they have lowered prices and increased the convenience for millions of people. However, vendors, their competitors, and especially their employees don't seem to think of them in a very high regard. Either way, they're definitely shaking up the world of commerce and the world of IoT, specifically the world of smart home, in many ways. In this episode, we're going to look at several of the newly announced products that Amazon is bringing out in the field of the smart home. We'll talk about the value of the product and to whom they may have the highest level of appeal. In the second half, we're going to go over some of the moves that Amazon has made to secure the smart home and to simplify it for the masses. We'll get started by talking about some of the different ways that Alexa, I won't say her name because she'll chime in, is further invading our lives. To kick off the show, let's talk about music. One of the faster growing areas in the world of smartphone accessories is the wireless headphone. We've all seen people wearing Apple AirPods, and although I find them to be incredibly foolish looking, that apparently is just me based on their popularity. For those who are more sports inclined or more concerned about the quality of music, there are offerings from companies like Bose, Jabil, and many others. Amazon apparently felt left out, hence the Echo Buds. The early reviews are that they're pretty solidly built and seem to have some advantages in the field of sound cancellation over products from Apple. However, one of the big draws to this product, if you're part of the Amazon Evil Empire ecosystem, is the ability to access Alexa, again I'm not going to say her name because she'll chime in, based content by simply saying her name. Their lower price point and decent battery life will make them popular. Not sure if the ability to access Alexa will, but who knows. The second product, along with the third one coming up, are still kind of in the development phase. Smart glasses are far from new, and to date have never been that popular. Amazon's take, called the Echo Frames, approaches it just a bit differently, and this may work. You can have your regular prescription put in, and there is no camera or display. Rather, interactions involve 4 tiny speakers and 2 microphones. A user can engage with Alexa and get things like directions and news, as well as to schedule appointments. I see no appeal here to anyone, to be honest. Most people have a smartphone that can do this, and if they don't want to constantly take out their phone, I think a smartwatch would be a better alternative. The lack of success in other smart glasses seems to back this up, but again, what do I know? The third wearable may have a bit better chance of success if you grew up as a fan of 1960s spy shows, and that is the Smart Ring. Those spies used to talk into things like their belt and watch to secretly communicate with their team. The Smart Ring, called the Echo Loop, has 2 microphones to accept voice commands. While I still think this product fails, it's unique enough that it may have a moderate chance of success. Either way, Amazon is using these as science projects and hoping to learn from them to make future products better. In previous podcasts, I've spoken about the Echo Dot, calling it the ideal starting point for those who wish to dip their toes into the smart assistant world. It has a very low price point, it's very easy to set up, and has a better sound than you might expect from a product of its size and cost. The latest iteration offers something a bit different, a digital clock that you can see on the outside. It can also apparently display other things like the time for an alarm or the temperature outside. While this is far from cutting-edge technology, I think it's a great idea. I have Echo Dots in my kids' room, and they both use them as alarm clocks. This will prevent them from having to ask what time it is to know if their alarm is about to go off. Moving on to something that's a bit more expensive in the Echo family is the newly announced Echo Studio. A while back, I spoke about how many audiophiles had bypassed the Echo series for their Alexa accessing needs and opted for products like the Sonos One. The sound difference was spectacular, easily justifying the price upgrade. I guess Amazon felt the need to compete because the Echo Studio delivers top-notch sound for those who wish to listen to music as well. It also allows you to use two of them to create a simple do-it-yourself home theater setup. They match up well, no surprise, with Amazon's Fire TV that they also push out high-fidelity sound. I guess the investor world must have liked it because Sonos stock dropped by 4 or 5% right after the announcement. I think these, or the Sonos, are ideal for living room and office if you like to stream music. The final product in this segment is the Echo Show 8, not to be confused with the Echo Show 5 or just the plain Echo Show. The difference in the models is the size of a screen, with the 8 offering an 8-inch display to sandwich between the two other ones. I have spoken about how I enjoy the Echo Show 5, as it allows me to see video from my Ring device, as well as to work as a great beside-the-bed alarm clock. I never really saw the appeal of the 10-inch version, as I would think that most of us wouldn't watch video to stream content. We have tablets and big screens for that. Similarly, I don't see as much appeal for this new product, but I'm still sure they're going to sell a ton of them. To subtly segue to the next segment, one of the appeals to these devices is the ability to control smart home products, which Amazon also announced a few of those too. As someone with perhaps, gasp, too many smart home products in their home, can that really be possible? I've often been asked by people as to how they can dip their toes into the world of smart home. I usually refer them to look at home assistants on the lower end, like products from Google or the aforementioned Echo Dot. The next product I push them towards is the Smart Plug. Many of us have legacy products, think Christmas lights, heaters, and more, that we wish to control using our smart home hubs. Now Amazon has made it easy by combining the Smart Assistant with the Smart Plug into a product called the Echo Flex. You plug the Flex into the wall and it gets power. Go figure. At that point, you'll be able to use the built-in ALXEA speaker to turn on devices and more. I think this may be the new go-to product for newbies in the smart home world. They also make it easier to add on other products, like the kind of cool Smart Nightlight. My 9-year-old thought this was the coolest thing. It's called the Echo Glow, and it's a color-changing nightlight for kids that looks like half of a crystal ball. It is also a simple way for kids to get interactive with smart home products. Yeah, hook them young for long-term commitment. The next smart home product is not a new concept. As I've mentioned before, I have a smart oven. However, Amazon's take is much cooler than mine. It is a 4-in-1 microwave that adds conventional cooking, an air fryer, and a food warmer. You can also control all of it using, you guessed it, ALEXA. The device is, and I'm using air quotes, certified for humans. Stay tuned to find out what the heck that is later on in the podcast. Now, do you need a smart oven? Of course not. But it does seem to reduce the complexity of cooking, and since as a society we eat horribly, this is somewhat a step in the right direction. The next product focuses on what is likely the hairiest member of your household, I hope, the family dog. There are smart bowls, cameras, and smart doggy doors already. This is far from a new area. As well, there is no shortage of pet trackers already on the market. So why is Amazon bringing out a new one? I'm not sure unless Amazon thinks that Fetch is a better and simpler way to do it, and that is the name of it. I think the success of this product relies on Amazon's Sidewalk, which we're going to cover in a later segment. The final products we're going to mention here are from a well-known Amazon subsidiary, Ring. Now, I have a huge crush on Ring, as I've enjoyed their products for a long time. You can hear my reviews of the Ring doorbell and security systems in previous podcasts from this past summer. While they didn't release anything new in terms of a product category, Ring brought out 2 lower-cost cameras for the home. I did buy them, and I'm going to review them a little later in the year when I get them and get to play with them. As the number of devices that have the capability to listen in our home increases, an ever-popular question is, what are the companies and governments doing to protect my privacy and to keep my data secure? Let's face it, I've spoken a lot about how large technology companies only seem to care about your privacy and data security after the fact, as most of their business models are often based on selling your data. Perhaps we are starting to see a bit of a change here. Maybe it's just been forced on them enough. Amazon has done some work in the area of regulation, namely around their AI products, with images that are produced from their Ring security cameras. This was further expanded recently with the new feature called Home Mode on the Ring doorbells. The feature prevents Ring doorbell cameras from recording audio and video if it detects the residence or home. They have also put in some new features like a physical shutter on several of the Echo Show devices to prevent unwanted video footage from being taken. Finally, one of the big concerns about privacy is that many items you may have asked ALEXA for are logged in a file about you. Amazon has made it easier for those files to be deleted automatically or via request. In the final segment, we'll talk about how Amazon is working hard to make things easier to set up, especially for those who are new to the world of the smart home. One of the ways that I judge technology products is the out-of-box experience. No, I don't care so much about the quality of the wrapping and the package, but rather how quickly and easily I can get a product to start working. As I stated in an earlier podcast, I think Ring sets the benchmark for how easy it is to set up their products, like their security system. Apparently, Amazon wants to do even better. Their new program is called, air quotes, Certified for Humans, and is aimed at connected lights, plugs, and appliances. If you are using a product that passes Amazon's certification, it will be guaranteed to be set up frustration-free. Things like sharing your Wi-Fi credentials, behind the scenes, over-the-air updates automatically, and the automatic setup of your device in the Alexa app are just some of the ways that Amazon is hoping to simplify your user experience. The final thing we're going to talk about has an unusual name, Sidewalk, but was something that's mostly overlooked in much of the recent news coverage. Sidewalk is Amazon's new low-bandwidth, long-distance wireless protocol for connecting IoT devices in and around your home and office. The reason for the investment is that they believe Wi-Fi and Bluetooth lack range, which they might be true, and 5G will use too much power in a simple device. They didn't really mention much about Zigbee, though, or about Z-Wave, so it's kind of interesting. For the nerds out there, it's a 900 MHz network, so it should do a decent job of getting through walls and ceilings. While there were no official specs announced, they were talking about devices being able to connect up to a mile or 1.5 kilometers away, which is kind of impressive for a low-cost technology. You may wonder, what do you need to track 1 mile from your house besides people or cars, both of which often have cellular modules inside of them through smartphones and inside the car? Their first device, go back a little bit, is Fetch for pet tracking. It'll be interesting to see if the market goes for this kind of device, or if people just want to spend more for a cellular-based device using other technologies that will do the same job. I can't finish out the Sidewalk project without talking about a potential security issue that was brought up from our friends at CNET. If your dog walks the same pattern consistently, might this information be used to know when you're not home, or at least the dog's not home to protect your property? Time will tell if this is much of an issue. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. As always, we love to hear from you, good, bad, and even a bit ugly. The best place to start is our Facebook page, The Internet of Things Made Simple. Besides having linked to podcasts, we have links to other material there as well. If I'm connected to you personally on LinkedIn, drop me a note through that service. And if we're personally connected via old-fashioned methods like email or text, send me one of those. Talk to you soon. I'm Larry Bohumor. Take care.